I did have this moment yesterday of where I really felt like, damn, I'm really like, I'm in my 30s for real. I was scrolling through TikTok and I watch a lot of wrestling. So like I get a lot of like the feed has like a lot of wrestling videos. Well, one was like this kid who was going through um what are they the Make-A-Wish kid. So he was sitting
Oh, okay.
yeah, he's sitting down and he's just like he's having like a little birthday party or something and The Rock shows up and sits down next to him. It's like his favorite wrestler ever. And The Rock's just like, how they sneak in and just sit down. And he just looks at him and goes, "How you doing?" And the kid just like freezes up. And I was like, oh my God, I'm about to start crying.
I hope you're ready for battle. You better get on the saddle. We got some demons to tackle. Yeah. We about to put on a show. These haters don't even know.
Top 3 favorite anime characters of all time.
The Rocket Twins from Pokemon. Yeah, you would have to use your mouth.
I don't know what's going on with Big Radiohead today. Cody asks, I watched last week's episode, but I couldn't stop focusing on that nasty red spot above Anthony's eye.
Damn.
When you come to the ring, which song do we got?
Think of a song. Oh, a song? A song.
Oh my God. All right, you're not doing that to the ring. Are there any games out there that represent your life, like something you can relate to? It's the most depressing game, Elden Ring. I could probably relate. I could probably relate to Kaylin. Yeah, Kaylin in Elden Ring, that whole area. I relate to all of that.
Anthony has anxiety.
That whole thing is great. Thank you for that. You have gave us 2 Twitch streams over the weekend.
Oh, you, yeah, I did. You mean me?
Yeah, that was a fun time. It was good to see you back streaming again.
Yeah, planning on getting back to it more. I don't know what happened before, it just happened, but yeah, just getting back on it, trying to make some time to update it all because I know that I don't even have channel points or anything. I just have like hydrate.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm just like extra hydrated, but yeah.
We talked about it somebody in stream. I don't even remember how you got brought up, but you'd gotten brought up in stream and
Salud.
yeah. And I'm just like, we're gonna force Pink Radiohead to come back to a Twitch streamer. Like she's not gonna have the option. We're gonna force her to do this.
Not much option right now either. So, let's just roll with it and continue doing it.
Yes, that's it. That's what we like to hear. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the world's greatest Junk Mail Tuesday podcast. Even if it's the only one, it's still the best one. If you want to partake in these questions that we're gonna read here on stream, you can put them down in the YouTube comments below, and I won't make a promise we'll read them if they're nasty or disgusting. But actually, I'd probably still read it if they're nasty and disgusting. Towards me, of course, not towards anybody else. You can say bad things about me and I'll read them. But we got some good questions from some of our regulars, so we're gonna get into that. Yeah, I'm kind of excited about this episode. How are you feeling? You ready for these hard hitting questions?
For sure.
All right, let's hope none of them stump you. I think you can handle all these.
Probably gonna be stumped with a couple, I'm sure. Usually am.
I don't think Pink gets stumped. She's just like, I'm not answering that dumbass question. All right, speaking of dumbass questions, let's jump to question number 1 from Jordan. That's a joke, by the way.
Hi, Jordan.
Hi, Jordan. I heard y'all joke a lot about not finishing games. Do you ever feel like you wasted money when you purchase a full price game and don't finish it? I'll let you go first. No?
No, there's only one time that I purchased something at full price that I regretted it, and that was Fallout 76 at release. I knew it was terrible. I have heard what people have said about it when it came out, and somehow I didn't listen. I did listen, but I wanted to see for myself. And as soon as I boot up that game, I was literally crickets.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, what is going on? Like, this is not Fallout to me. Um, but the rest of that, I don't feel like I have wasted my money because a lot of them that I've purchased that I haven't finished, like I didn't purchase them at full price, or I'm still gonna play them someday. You know what I mean? So I just consider that like having books in my bookcase that I haven't read yet.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So as long as you like the game, even if you haven't finished it, you're fine with it. Have you bought any other games that you didn't like, but you were just like like you didn't feel like you wasted the money, but you're like, I didn't really like that game, but it's like whatever. You didn't really regret it.
No, I to be honest, like if you really look at the stuff that I have, I don't buy that many games. I think, especially now with Game Pass and stuff like that, I don't tend to buy a lot of games, or if I do, I buy them on sale after a while. This is why you don't see me playing a lot of games on release, is because I'm not sure. Sometimes I'm not sure if I'm gonna commit the time to it, so I just don't buy them
And
on
Fallout
sale.
traumatized you.
No, I wouldn't say that was it. I think that was the one that I did like spend money. I will say though, but I'm not sure that I regret it because I'm kind of like a hoarder with The Sims. Just because I played it since 2000, like Sims 1. Sims 4 though, I did spend a lot of money. Like if you really want to say like how I spent my money and wasted it, that would be The Sims 4 and every single expansion pack,
Damn.
because I has okay, so let me clarify that because I do play that game and I have many hours on it, but for the age of it, it's about to be 10 years in
Right.
2024.
Yeah.
For the age of it, I only have 1,000 hours in it. And you may think 1,000 hours is a lot. And I'm like, yeah, but it's a game that has, I forgot how many expansion packs it has. But I will say that I did do a lot of content back in the day on when I was streaming at the beginning on Twitch on The Sims. And I do actually use it from time to time to go in and build. Like I always go back to it because it's a comfort game. But I will say I had spent way too much money on that game. I will say that. Like
Yeah.
way too much. Like too much.
I've only bought one thing in The Sims. That was the little wizard world that they had. I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of fly.
Oh, I like that expansion pack, but also, obviously I do have a witch version of me. So yes, but that's it.
And apparently a
I think it could have been
gang
better.
and a whole gang you had going on, and a ex that you broke
I
up
did.
with on there. It's pretty
I
lit.
did have a gang at some point but that was a mod. That's a mod. Mods are really fun. But yeah, I did reenacted breakup with an ex once on the Sims 4. Yeah.
That was great. That was great. Let me think. I don't think I've bought a game. I also like a lot of games. Like you have to put out I say this about everything about like movies, music, games. I'm very easily entertained. You have to put out something that's just like god awful for me to realize it's not good. Like
Mhm.
I say this all the time, and maybe I've said it on Junk Mail. I know I've said it 300 times on Twitch stream and things like that. One of my favorite movies ever is The Suicide Squad, the one that had Will Smith and Margaret Robbie Margaret. I'm fucking her
Margot
name.
Robbie.
There we go. Thank you. I was
She's
fucking
so
her name up.
she's
Yeah.
so great.
I love that movie. It's one of my favorites. And I didn't really like when I got out the movie theater, I was like, oh my God, that movie is as great as I thought it would be. And I get home and get on Twitter and everybody's like, oh my God, this movie's the worst thing ever. It's just like all these terrible scores and everything. Like, I don't see what some people see. I'm not saying their opinion is not valid. Obviously, I'm in the minority. Maybe it's a bad movie, but I really loved it. So like, same thing with games for me. It's just like I haven't bought a lot of games that I just hate. I really can't
Mhm.
think of anything that okay, so I just made a list. We did it on stream. It was the games that I played this year, and I ranked them in order from my favorite to least. Starfield was towards the bottom. I'm not a big Starfield fan, but I didn't purchase that game, and I don't think it's like ass. It just wasn't one of my favorites, or even close to. But I don't even think that was terrible. And then like Payday 3, but all those are on Xbox Live, so it's really hard to answer this question because I
Game
don't.
Pass.
Game Pass, sorry. Thank you. I don't think I've ever bought a game that I don't like, that didn't like. Ever. Now that I'm
That's
thinking
good.
about it. Yeah.
See, that's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to us enjoying video games and not complaining about every little thing that comes out.
What I will say about things and movies is like sometimes I feel like people like to play critics and stuff like that, but then I look at them and I look at the type of movies they like and the other ones that they're saying that are great and stuff like that, and to me they're very mainstream.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of people talk a lot and criticize a lot and think that they know what they're talking about, but a lot of times I feel like they don't because one of the ones that was highly criticized, I believe, was Birds of Prey.
I love
And
that
actually,
movie.
I love
Yeah.
that movie.
Yeah. That was
And I
good.
feel like a lot of times, like people criticize them because sometimes they have subjects or narratives that actually makes them uncomfortable, especially males. Like I know that a lot of like the people that are pro Joker and stuff like that were really mad at that movie because like she's supposed to stay like being like in love with him. I'm like no, like it's great that she actually realizes that he's a POS.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like like, and those are like, I think that happened too with one of the Marvel movies. I think it was, is she Mrs. Marvel or Miss Marvel? Like, she's the one that has like amazing superpowers. Someone told me, well, oh, she has no modesty. I'm like, well, why does she need to have modesty? She's confident in herself and confident in her abilities. Why does she has to be like pleasing to you? And then their counter argument was that they were making people like Thor look like CCs and
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. And I'm like, well, but Thor is like that though. Lord, the Thor drinks beer. Like if he doesn't take care of himself, he
Yeah.
grows a belly. Like and
Yeah.
he's goofy. Like
Mhm.
that's the way Thor is. But like, and I've heard that argument from so many people, like, oh, they're making males like more like women now, like weak, and then women more powerful. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry that bothers you. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
sorry. I read through it, went to another area, but like those are things like in commentaries that I hear. I feel like people put a lot of the things that they find uncomfortable in their when they
Yeah.
criticize things. That's
Well,
what I would say. But obviously, sometimes movies are actually, there are things that could have been better. There are things that are more like fan service and et cetera, that I understand when people come from a place of actually knowing what they're talking about.
yeah. Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Well, I would say like what you just said, that logic also somebody who watches wrestling, like when I was younger, the women were just like mud fights. Like as a kid, of
right.
course you love that. You're like, oh my God, this is great. Uh I mean, and let's keep it real, even as an adult, it's still pretty great. But there are like women wrestlers who who want to like for real wrestle. Like they wrestle for real. That's what they do. Like some of them girls that they hired back in the day, and this is not all of them, but some of them weren't athletes to begin with. They were models and they just hired them to come in there. It's like, here's this women's championship belt that doesn't mean anything compared to what all the guys have. This belt is meaningless. But it's decoration for y'all, and the way y'all are gonna fight for this belt is in a ring full of mud, half naked. When that started changing, because a lot of the people who were getting involved were younger people now that were helping run the show and things like that. Things started changing, and they were like, let's let these women wrestle for real. Like they got talent, and we're like keeping it. So now, like you got all these like, oh my God, so many of the best matches today are from the women, but you have like the other people who aren't like you said, accepting of that. It's just like, oh, why do they always have to do this? And all the
It's like,
critiques and
why does it bother you?
yeah,
Why have
yeah,
you asked yourself that question? Why does it bother you?
yeah. I'm with you. The moral to all this
Sorry.
is men, men, let's stop being pieces of shit, okay?
Yeah.
There we go. Breed wants to know, what are some good examples of games that have collaborated would be fun? So I think he's saying like two different video games collide in one world for one big video game.
Super Smash Bros. Right?
Yeah, but
That's an example of what you're asking, or I
yeah,
don't
but they
understand.
mean no, that was actually good because you actually like there is a real example, and I didn't even realize that. The question is like, let's make some up, but that was actually like I can.
Oh, but what about Kingdom of Hearts?
Yeah, that's real too.
Disney and
Yeah, no, you're killing this. we were supposed to make them up though. Like if I said like they should do like
sorry.
I didn't even realize, but that was good. I would have never even thought to like throw in those some of them games already exist. My dumb ass didn't even think of that. But yeah, like if we made them up, what worlds?
Soul Calibur 2. Sorry.
This is why she's here, y'all. She's like legit giving you good answers to this.
Okay, so what? Tell me one game. Don't say Elden Ring. Like we're not saying Zelda or Elden Ring
I
just
got
to
you.
change it up. Okay.
Let's change it up. Can I say Armored Core?
Okay.
All right, no. Let's go. We'll go Resident Evil. Resident Evil.
All right, Resident Evil. Okay, so infected people by Umbrella Academy, and then we have the characters for Resident Evil.
Oh, Claire
and then-
Redfield, she's so hot.
Okay, Leon. Woo. So how do we want to do this? Like, do we want to make like
How about we got one world because Resident Evil is a whole world. Let's get another world.
trying to think because I'm trying to think like because I feel like we need to decide what type of collaboration, right? Super Smash Bros is like a fighting game.
Mhm.
You know, like do we want to make it like
The other world.
a character from another world comes over to Resident Evil?
Yeah, and if they got a group like a party, like maybe two other
so
people with them, they can come too.
Someone comes over to help them. I would say like someone who would fit very well.
Uh-oh.
But have you played Conquer Bad Fur Day from Nintendo 64?
No.
All right, so like it was like a squirrel, and it was like a very like honestly probably rated R game for kid. Like I don't know how we had it on Nintendo 64, which the majority of the games usually were like for kids.
Yeah.
But my brother came to have that game, and we had it like this dude. It's a squirrel that gets drunk. He literally pieces on the street. Like they throw up. They
This sounds
super
familiar.
bloody. Yeah, look it up, guys. Conquer Bad Fur Day it was created by Rare. It was a great game, and it was hilarious. I think that Conquer would do great in the Resident Evil world.
The
Like, he
humor
would
sounds
come
like it
and
would
just
line up.
he would add the humor to it, and then he would be bloody, just like you need to be. And yeah, that would be really cool.
Oh, I
Do you
do
find
remember
him?
this. Yes, I remember this. I have not played a lot of it. I don't remember.
My brother, of course, loved it. And
Yeah.
so we would actually always play like the multiplayer mode.
Uh-huh.
It was hilarious, man. Like the teddy bears that all like, and they all say bad words. It's great. It's great.
All right, well there you go. We got Resident Evil combines with Conqueror. What was it? Conqueror Fur Day. Bad.
Conquer Bad Fur Day.
Oh, there we go. Conquer's Bad Fur Day and Resident Evil combined to take on Umbrella. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
There you go, Breed. This is a good one for you. Hopefully you're old enough to know that reference.
If not, look it up.
If not, look it up. Drake wants to know, how often do you go to Google or YouTube or game guides for help in games? I know for me, 90% of the time. But I have this weird thing of like, I will push through. Sometimes I'll wait a day. I'll be like, I'm gonna go to sleep on this and wake up tomorrow and try again for a few hours. And if I don't get it, then I'll do it. But most times when it happens, because a lot of times I have, like the next day, for whatever reason, this happens a lot. Maybe this happens to you too, or to any of our listeners. I'll sleep on it, wake up, turn it on, and get it instantly. You're just like, maybe my brain was just fried and I just needed a break. When it happens the most is like when I get to the end of a game and I've been playing, like I got like 40 hours into this game. I'm just like, all right, it's time to speed run through this shit. I gotta be done with this. And so I'll just, any little thing that I feel like I'm gonna get stuck on, I'm just, all right, I'm hitting YouTube. So a lot of times that happens at the very end of the game when I'm in my final 2 hours or so. Like Final Fantasy 16, I 100%ed. and I needed to get every like they have a monster quest board where it's just like go and hunt these monsters and just something you can do to go level up and accomplish some other shit in the game. They have some that tell you what area they're in, and you could go to that area and just kind of look around. So I didn't mind doing that. Some of them they don't put the area. I'm just like I'm not walking around this entire map looking for these things. They could be anywhere. Like who knows where they are? So I would the ones that didn't even give you a hint, I just went and I went on Google and found it. But like I said, all that was towards the end of the game too. So
Yeah, I actually like get really annoyed if, for example, I'm playing like a puzzle game and stuff like that, and I don't get it. Like I get really annoyed at myself because I'm like, come on, figure it out, figure it
mhm.
out, figure it out, figure it out. You can do this. Especially because I do like a lot of point and clicks and stuff like that, where you're trying to figure out clues. Like, what's the point of actually looking for any answer? Like, I will only do it if I'm like frustrated to the point that I don't know what the fuck to do. That's when I will do that. I think yesterday in Zelda I used it, and I tend to not do that with Zelda at all. Like I even as a kid when I didn't understand what the game was telling me to do, like it was really hard for me to decide to look at a guide. I remember I just at the beginning because I couldn't figure out where to find the sword. You actually found it pretty fast. When I couldn't figure out like to find the Kokiri sword, I called my friend because he told me that he played the game, but it was actually his sister that was the one that was good at Zelda. And she was like, I got you. Oh, this is what you need to do. So I remember sometimes when I would get stuck, I would call there and ask to talk to
Yeah,
her just to kind of like get unblocked. But because also I did not speak English, but from there I always figure it out on my own. Most of the games, most of the Zelda games, actually, like all the ones that came after, I had to do it without help. I hated getting help. Like Majora's Mask, there's like these little fairies that you can collect whenever you're doing each temple. And if you do collect the fairies, because there's an option not to, but like if you do collect them, you actually if the games becomes the game becomes easier for you because you will get more magic power, or I don't remember if it gives you health. I can't remember, to be honest, but I started doing that because the first time I played that game, it was extremely difficult because I wasn't collecting the fairy. But the second time I did it, I was like, I'm gonna find all the fairies, and I did it without actually going to any guides or anything like
hmm
that.
I've only found one
So, uh,
in
you've
Breath of the
never
Wild.
played Majora's Mask?
Oh, I thought we were just talking about any Zelda game. Period. My bad.
No, no, no. Oh, okay, okay, okay. But no, no. In Breath of the Wild, I get lost because the map is so big,
Yeah,
and that's what I got. Like I get anxiety when I'm lost. Like even in a game, like I'm like I start getting like very desperate and antsy when I'm trying to find something and I cannot see, and I'm like, like I
yeah,
literally
yeah,
get nervous, like somebody's like pulling. I don't know how to describe it. It's something. It's a feeling that I cannot describe, but I get like very like my brain doesn't stabilize when that's happening. So that's why I went to Google it. I was like, okay, I need to get help from someone so they can point out to where exactly on the map because I was getting like literally panicky. I
yeah,
don't
for
know
sure.
why. It's a game, right? But yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah, games are definitely they're stressful. When you said you were gonna do damn, should I say this on stream? Am I allowed to say what you're gonna be streaming after Zelda?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay. I didn't
fine.
want to just blow your whole Twitch thing up. When you said you were gonna do Cocoon on stream, I was like, geez, she must have more patience than me because I'd never be able. And then reading my chat, oh God, no, I would never do a puzzle game on my stream.
I'm gonna get very nervous now. I'm actually nervous about it now that you're saying that. But to be honest, I was playing a game that was like a puzzle game with a friend a long time ago. I think it's called A Tale of Two. And it's kind of like you need to figure out puzzles together. Bro, I was doing great, to be honest.
Mhm.
So, like, I am good at doing puzzles. I am. So it's just like sometimes, like, it's kind of like that trying yesterday where I took a moment and like I didn't know what to do, and I was like, so we all have those moments, and I think when you're on stream, it's kind of like anxiety inducing because if anybody's watching you, you're like,
Yeah, and your
like
chat's
you get
like,
more nervous. So
"Boo, you suck at
that
this
doesn't help.
game."
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't help. Like it makes you feel kind of like silly. Yeah,
Yeah, or like shit, and they just keep doing it. I'm just letting it all
yeah.
out now. This is like therapy for me. If you are a part of my Twitch chat, fuck you. That's but yeah, I think, man, at the end of the day, it's really not all that deep. I try not to ever do it on stream. Even that's not even a big deal if you do. I try not to do it on stream, but like in my personal time, a lot of people got jobs and families. People don't have time to try to figure all that stuff out. So if you gotta run to it and go do one of that, my brother was playing Harry Potter, and
Mhm.
I was watching him play it, and he got to a spot. He was like, I don't know what the hell they want me to do. And I just pulled my phone out and I just Googled it for him. I was like, dog, just do this. And like, you got kids running around, like you got work in the morning, just Google it, dog. So it ain't that deep.
Yeah,
It'll be all right.
I'm not gonna shame people for doing that. I think every gamer is different.
Mhm.
So like I think that has been the theme like in the last podcast we spoke about that too, like my thoughts on like soul like soul like games and stuff like that. And again, everyone's different. So play it like how you want to play it.
Yep.
And you're still a gamer for it. Like don't let other people tell you otherwise. That's it.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, there you go. We answered your question. We cheat all the time.
No,
Uh
you do. Not me.
yeah, well, yeah, there we go. I do for sure. Um C Tom wants to know, Sony is removing purchased shows from their store, and even if you purchase the season/episode, you will lose them. I didn't even know. Did you know that existed in there?
I didn't know, and I also don't have a PlayStation.
Oh yeah,
So,
that's right. Yeah, yeah.
but I've heard these concerns before. Go ahead.
This means we're losing the world famous show Alaskan Women Looking for Love. That's crazy. I'm a,
I
Pig,
have no idea what that.
yeah, I'm about to shit on this entire thing. So I don't know if Pink's gonna give y'all like a good mature answer, but I'm about to clown all of y'all who bought Alaskan Women Looking for Love. Did you purchase any shows from the PlayStation Store? No, I can answer that now. But do you trust these companies going full digital in the future? And are you an Alaskan woman looking for love? All right, so right off the bat, Pink, are you an Alaskan woman looking for love?
Well, I am not Alaskan.
Well,
So what can I say?
I'm not Alaskan or a woman, so I'm not. I'm that's a no for me too. Okay, here's what I'll say, because I'll get passionate about one part of this. Passionate, strong. I'll take one part of this very seriously. Yo, all of y'all who bought shows and seasons off of the PlayStation Store is sick behavior, anyways. Like y'all deserve for that shit to get taken off of your PlayStation. Who sits down and is just like, I need to spend money on the Alaskan Women Looking for Love is sick, and you need to go get that checked out. But all jokes aside, I did think about this and I was like, all right, like one, how much can an episode, I didn't do no research, all right? I'm not the research king. We're just answering questions, all right? I'm not the news. So you can do your own researches at home about how much these shows cost. I'm just like, how much could you have spent on a show? And that doesn't make it okay. But I'm just like, sometimes the news can be blown up to look worse. I'm just like, how many people have purchased anything show wise from the PlayStation Store? And if so, how much could they have possibly spent? Like, who's on the numbers? Can't be that high of people who are doing that. No?
Well, this is the thing, and kind of like, because I know that this question is about the PlayStation Store, but this is a subject that comes up a lot with the Steam Store, for example. So there's a very small print to buying games on Steam. So Steam is a storefront that is a cloud platform, right? Like all your games are on the cloud. That's one thing. And you don't have a physical copy of the game. Apparently, you buy a game on Steam, and that game is still owned by Steam, even though you have the hours there. Like, if you get banned from Steam and you have that whole ass like Steam library, and like, listen, to get banned from Steam, it takes a lot. To be
Yeah.
honest, like
Yeah.
you have to be a piece of shit, like literally the worst, to get fully banned from there. But you lose everything. And but there is a thing too that they say, well, when Steam decides to not decides, but when Steam goes broke, actually, my cousin used that phrase the other day, like bye bye games, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And I know that that's a thing that people are concerned about because like everything it's in the cloud. Like now your games don't come in physical copies. And that has been a concern that has been ongoing with Nintendo as well, right? Like you do get it now, like you can get the cartridge and stuff like that. But for example, with all the issues with emulation, with games that are not even coming out now, like games that are old, but because like it's Nintendo's intellectual property, they're persecuting these people that are going after and kind of like trying to not promote those games because they're not even selling them. They're just making them available to people so they can play them
hmm
because they think more about on the area of not preserving like kind of like that, because at the end of the day games are art, there's
yeah,
art involved in that. So I think it's a valid concern. What the answer to that is like, let's just hope that we're not alive at that moment when we all lose internet and that's it, we don't have anything. But it's something that it's talked about a lot, that this is the generation, well, not millennials, because we have both, right? We had the
right,
physical and now we have the digital. So part of our life is still physical in the sense of like we have things that we're leaving behind. And this is one of the things why I still purchase books and like write things on paper.
yeah,
It's because those things I'm never gonna lose, or they will get lost and stuff like that. But somewhere, somebody can find something that I wrote, even if it's stupid. I'm leaving something that can be passed on to other generations. But this generation now, like everything is digital, so
yeah.
literally, like your photos, everything. The day that everything gets blocked out, it's gone.
Yeah,
So
that's why what I do is I go buy old consoles and things like that too. Like I've got a PS1 and a GameCube and like a 64. Like I get all those consoles and I've been buying I need to get a physical copy of Elden Ring. I knew about this shit. This is the part I said I'd get kind of a little passionate about. I remember y'all know, listeners know I'm a huge rap fan. I'm a huge rap nerd. But Snoop Dogg bought Death Row Records, which was the label when he was young and in his prime. They had him and Tupac and Dr. Dre. It was like a huge thing. He bought that, and a lot of the people who worked on it weren't getting their publishing checks for that. They weren't getting paid anything for the work that they did on that. So he purchased it and said, for now on, all the sales are going straight to those people who worked on that. It was for a really good cause, but he also took all that stuff off of Spotify and off of Apple, and those are some of my favorite albums ever. And I couldn't listen to them anymore because he took them off of Spotify and things like that. And I wasn't going to go. I appreciate him doing that for the people who didn't get the checks they should have gotten off of that. I've never, they deserve to eat too. But I was just like, I'm personally not going to go get a Death Row app to listen to this stuff. But
yeah.
from that moment, I was like, this is going to continue to happen in music and movies and shows. And Netflix takes shows off all the time that they're not things that I purchase, but I'm saying like that's what we're doing. Is it's here for as long as they say it's here. And I think about that a lot with my PlayStation and the Xbox going forward. Maybe even Nintendo. How much longer are physical copies going to be a thing? Like they're trying to
Nintendo's
push
already
it out.
doing it. That's the thing,
Yeah.
right? Like we don't know. Like there are games that, for example, if they are not in Nintendo Switch Online, they're persecuting emulators, right? Like people that work on emulating the game so you can actually play them and stuff like that. They even take those down. Nintendo's like very rough on like intellectual property. I know my brother is very passionate about it. I'm not as informed about it. I just know that that's something that they do and they persecute. But it's even games that they're not putting out because at the end of the day, it's their intellectual property, right? So
Right.
it's just, I think it's like, this subject can go on for hours. And to be honest, is it fair? Like, we don't know. Like, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
when you're putting your money there, you're kind of like agreeing to the terms of that purchase.
Mhm.
So, unfortunately, that's how it works.
Yeah. And like you said, this could go on for hours, but Nintendo is going to be the big one anyways. Like, just as a reminder, Nintendo basically tells you when you buy a game off their Nintendo store, they're not taking returns and you should have looked into what you bought before you bought it. Like that's what we're looking for, like forward to in the future. You know, the person who asked earlier about buying a $70 game and regretting it. This isn't like going to GameStop, you bought the game, you're like, man, I don't really like this game, I'm gonna go return it. We're about to be at the end of that too. It's just gonna be like you bought a $70 game and you're just stuck with it because you should have done more research into it. Even if you did the research and you're like, this looks like something I would like, and you get it and don't like it, you're kind of fucked.
Steam has a good policy with that because obviously, like, let's say that you put in already 40 hours in a game that you're like, I don't like it, I want to return it. Like, Steam is gonna be like, fuck you, you've played 40 hours and now you're gonna tell me you don't like it.
Mhm.
No, like, if you have, like, I think if you have least than 3 hours, like, it's enough to kind of like for them to say, like, okay, no worries, and they will return your money. Like, that
Mhm.
did happen with me once. Actually, I just remember when you said that. But it's because I had the game on Game Pass and I just bought that game to play with a friend. And I was like, but why am I spending this money when they just put it on Game Pass? So
Yeah.
I did return it. I'm like, hey, I already have a copy of the game that I can play. And they did return it because I didn't even play it. Like I turned it on and turned it off because then I realized that I didn't
Mhm.
like I didn't have to pay for a game that I didn't know if I was gonna like.
I've heard they had a really good return policy on Steam, so that's really cool.
Yeah.
So shout out to Steam for that.
Yeah.
Nintendo and PlayStation especially though are super stuck up, greedy.
Yeah, but I think and again, it's their company, it's their
Yeah.
prerogative how they want to handle, their property because it is their property. Like, I believe that Nintendo at the end of the day, like it doesn't matter how much we want to criticize them. Like they put out great games out, like with great quality. Like I think it's very rare for a Nintendo game to come out and people are like, "Oh, fuck, this game is so bad," or
Mhm.
they weren't prepared to launch this game, which is happening so much in the gaming industry nowadays because so many hands are being put in there. Like big corpo is so interested in gaming now because it's such a, it's such a lucrative industry now that everybody wants to be in it. Like that's why all the and like movie actors and stuff like that are in gaming now because that's where the money's at.
And the
So
adaptations that are coming from it now.
yeah, but like the thing is that there are so many publishing companies now that are not only gaming publishers but are also movie publishing. They were movie publishing before, so publishers before. So like if you look at it, like the industries are merging a lot. So all the eyes are there, and a lot of stuff is gonna happen. And well, we're going to another subject there, but
Yeah, yeah.
that's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, intellectual property is intellectual property.
This is why we need a second podcast. For talk like this. All right. Thank you for that. You got us both pretty passionate there. BD wants to know, making a joke based off last week's episode about the story I told. Y'all go back and listen to that. About what my barber said about God turning the sun. BD wants to know how many gods does it take to turn the sun? And my answer that won't offend anybody or get anybody upset is all of them. Just every god that everybody believes in just gets together and they just turn the sun. That's how it works.
You just need a bunch of cats. That's it. That's all you need.
There you go. Weren't cats gods to the Egyptians?
Yeah.
Okay, I was hoping
Yeah.
I was right. I was like, I probably look like a fucking dumbass right
They
now.
were
Okay.
deities, yeah. So basically the same thing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was like, that came out my mouth, and I was like, yep, this is probably
and
the day.
Siamese cat, which is what I have on my arm too, is my tummy. Tummy was a Siamese cat.
Wait, do you have a tat on both arms?
No, just one.
That's what that is. Okay. Yeah, I know exactly which one. Talk about funny thing is, I was gonna ask you about your tattoo last night while you were streaming, and it slipped my mind because I have bad memory. But that's funny that came full circle and you answered what I was gonna ask anyways. All right, there you go. Let me see. We got 2 questions left. Let me see which one should be left for last. Okay. Haley wants to know that she's been currently loving the new Nicki Minaj album, but her problem is that she wants to be able to listen to that album.
Don't worry. It's my Joe.
Oh, my bad. I thought
Go ahead,
I thought you were giving me a sign that you couldn't hear me.
No.
Basically, she wants to know how she can listen to the album and still play video games. So what games are good for like being able to turn the game volume down and listen to music and it not be
Probably The Sims.
Sims
If
is
you
a
want to
good
build
one.
something on The Sims,
Yeah.
like you can listen to music while you're building. Anything, any building game, like any game where you can sit there and like tune out of whatever audio the game has. Like you can mute the audio and listen to music. Also, like if you like any FPSers where you don't need to listen to comps or listen to steps and stuff like that, you can also like mute the game or like
Mhm.
just the audio, like the music in the game. You can still hear the shooting, but then while playing whatever Nicki Minaj, that's all
Nicki
what you're
Minaj.
listening to.
I know I can give a couple if you're into.
That's an FPS, an FPS. I don't know what her music sounds like. I'm just doing an FPS kind of sound
That-
because I know my
yeah.
friend Edie. My friend Edie like listens to like very like hardcore Euro trance when sometimes
Mhm.
like when he plays Reinhardt in Overwatch just to focus, and then he doesn't listen to anything. He's just like
he's just having a good time.
yeah.
If you're into sports, I know like all the sports games back when I was playing them heavy, like NBA 2K and Madden, I would cut all that shit down and just play music. Especially with Madden, because there's nothing worse than like when you throw an interception and they remind you, they're like, oh my god, he threw his third interception. I was like, all right, I fucking get it. I'm trash. It's cool. So you just cut all that down and just let the music play. If you're not into sports, like if you like, I feel like online multiplayer games have a lot if you're playing them solo. Like Fall Guys is one that I could just, if I'm just like, I just want to get lost in some shit, listen to some music, and just play a
Yeah.
game that doesn't mean anything. Fall Guys is a good one.
Yeah, definitely nothing that's story driven, right?
Yeah.
So like if there's anything that's story driven, like I feel like you would be doing a disservice to the game audio producers too
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you like literally just like tune out the game and like don't listen to it because the atmosphere and all that stuff is super important. But like if you're doing a game that you can play all the time and it's kind of like just chilling or shooting and stuff like that, you definitely
Yeah. Listening to Bad Bunny during Alan Wake 2 probably isn't a good combination.
yeah, and also Bad Bunny.
Oh god, you're not gonna do this again. All right, here we let's jump to Trey 409. Shout out to Bad Bunny. We love you on this pod, and you should come
No,
be
I
a
don't.
guest. Oh my god.
But good for you, though. I'm glad for your success, because you are watching this podcast, I'm sure.
Yeah, he does. He does. I am almost 100% sure he listens. Last question here from Trey 409. Thoughts on the overall Game Awards show, and were there any games announced that you're looking forward to? So like, I'll say this. I know. I'll go first because I don't know what Pink's gonna say. But I'm gonna go the overall positive route. Award shows are bullshit and everything. So at the end of the day, they're always bullshit. I watch and have a fun time watching who wins. At the end of the day, no matter who wins or loses, it's not going to change your mind of what you think is the game of the year, because it's hard to give an award to something that's so like, you can't tell me what my experience was in a game. Like, so at the end of the day, all awards shows, music, I don't watch music awards or movie awards or anything like that, just because I'm just not that interested in movies, and today's music I'm not as interested in, so there's nobody that I really want to see. But in games, I just like getting up there and watching people get together and celebrate games is how I do it. Now, as far as anything that got announced, there was nothing in there I was that excited about. Hellblade 2 looks cool. Outside of that, I wasn't really that excited about anything that was announced, but I don't have anything really bad to say about shout out to Armor Core. We won. Okay, we did it as a team. I didn't get to give my thank you speech, but we want to thank Pink for doubting us. All our
I never
haters.
doubted you. I actually didn't doubt it that it was a good game. I just said that I wasn't interested
Yeah.
in it. So see, I'm like, this is the thing. Like, if I say I don't like something,
Mhm.
because I didn't say I didn't like the game, I said it sounds like something I'm not interested
Yeah,
in.
for sure, for
okay?
sure.
So I know Anthony likes to do clickbait with me.
Yes, I do. I do love clickbaiting. I will do it.
But do not twist my words.
Yeah.
I
Except for
do
on clips
have-
to get attention.
Yeah, that's Anthony. That I don't know how to do that. I feel weird doing that. So
And I will say
Uh,
on the podcast where people like legit listen, she did not say she doesn't like Armor Core. She just said it sounds boring.
yeah. So anyway, Game Awards. So I think I mentioned it before. I'm not big on awards either. But I will say that the show is mostly advertising, and I know that that's not much different to what a lot of people are saying out there. I actually was upset too because I think there's two sides to this for me. There's one side like the industry and like the game awards, kind of like I hated how the developers were being cut off when they were receiving the
Oh, that
prizes.
was
Like
bad. Yeah, that was bad.
I hated that so much. Like, I don't precisely have like a problem with celebrities being there, but I did see people mentioning that it would have been great to have like the celebrity that participated in the game showing up there with a developer, when somebody that worked on the game as well, kind of like to talk about that process as well, because this is about celebrating games, or this is what they're saying. But that it seems more like a show, like a BMA or something like that to me. But also something that wasn't even mentioned, like gaming. So the tech industry, by the way, I am part of one of those many people that were laid off from the tech industry this year.
Mhm.
And I wasn't even in gaming. I was at a company that had gaming. So the layoffs in gaming were something that also wasn't even brought up. And that's
Yeah.
about 10,000 people that have been laid off in the last couple of months from the gaming industry. And those are the people that make the games. So I think that that's one side to that. Like, and then that is more like a show to make money instead of like actually celebrating games. And I think that that definitely could be sensed. Like, something that I did is like I didn't watch live. I literally just had it play. I paused it, and then I watched little by little later. And whatever I felt like it was too much, I just skipped, because I was like, this is all like a bunch of, you know, ads and stuff like that. So games I do want to play Hellblade. Actually, I did. I'm gonna notate that because Hellblade is a game that I started and I haven't finished, but I was loving it. So I definitely want to play Hellblade, finish Hellblade, and like add Hellblade 2 to the list because it does look
It looks
great.
so cool.
There were other games there. I'm interested to see what Kojima is doing with OD. Like, some people are just like kind of like
I'm just
speculating
confused.
about what the game is gonna
Yeah.
be. Really, like, I really want to see what he like came up with, because he says like it's a game and a movie and everything else in
Mhm.
between. I'm like, okay, I want to see what this is. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
he's saying like a new form of media. So I find that very interesting. I
Mhm.
already saw that they were talking about Unreal Engine 5 for like the creation of like the images, because they looked like hyper realistic and like the way they moved and everything. But
Mhm.
yeah, no, very interesting. Looked a little bit dystopical to me as well. So I just want to know what they're doing. Like, I really want to know what they're doing there. And there were a lot of there were other games there, but I forgot their names because this is how I am. I forget the
Yeah.
names, and then eventually we'll figure it out.
Were you into the Blade at all? I know a lot of people are hyped about the what they showed about
Well,
Blade.
it looked good, but it was also very
Yeah,
short
it was very short. Yeah,
showcase.
yeah.
Like, and like that's one of the things that like it looks really good. I hope it's good, but
Yeah.
there wasn't much there. Just kind of like a teaser.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I agree with everything you said there, especially with the layoffs and them not getting any putting any time into speaking into any of that. But I always go into there's been a few times where I've watched music award shows, but anytime I watch anything like that, it's always a go into it knowing this is going to be some bullshit. I'm just going to be happy for the people who got to go up there and win, and or just see if Armor Core didn't win. I was just so excited that it was in something, like, so I always just kind of look into that stuff, which is why it's good that we had the both of us on here, because she could speak way more to that part of things that I couldn't have spoken to really, because I'm just not knowledgeable in that um stuff at all. But yeah, yeah, as far as the games, Hellblade 2 is the coolest looking thing that I've seen in there, but there's nothing that's got me like, super hyped so far.
Yeah, I think I had more things in my brain, but I'm just gonna.
All right. I mean, if you're sure, is there anything else you want to? Because I do have to update y'all on my fantasy football because it got crazy. Is there
Go
anything else
ahead.
on the awards? Okay, I will try
No,
not to.
I think I made it clear like what my stance
Mhm.
is on it. I do think that all the people that were nominated, all the games that were nominated were very deserving. Actually, like I wouldn't like I think I've said it before, I wouldn't have removed anything. There was one thing though that I got very annoyed with, but it was mostly with the public. And, maybe it's a bunch of kids that they don't know that and they don't know what they're talking about. First of all, like kids complaining about Baldur's Gate winning.
Oh yeah.
Like, okay, I'm calling them kids, but just the general population that comments on YouTube saying, I don't even know what that game is. Where's Spider-Man 2 winning?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
dude, okay, so I understand that you like Spider-Man. I understand that you're a PlayStation fanboy. Like, that's completely okay. But, like, do not bash other games just because you don't know them. That's one
Mhm.
thing. And another thing that I got very annoyed with was the accessibility award. Because accessibility is important. Because just because you don't need it now doesn't mean that you're never gonna in your life need it. Okay, everyone is disabled at some point in their lives,
Mhm.
okay? And I hated kids saying Forza Motorsport mid to that award or saying like participation award. Accessibility is not a participation award. Accessibility should be present everywhere, okay?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, yeah.
just wanted to say that. I know people are not going to listen to this and that's okay, but I need to say it. That's it.
No, it's very why does my Spotify keep playing? It's very important to be said. I was telling them I couldn't we were trying to take guesses on who we thought would win, and I told them for accessibility, I didn't play any of those other games and I didn't check their accessibility options even if I did. I said so I'm just going to go with the prediction of Diablo just because I know and I'm going to try really hard to say this without sounding offensive or stupid. But there was one guy who couldn't use controllers, and so it's like almost like a flute situation that they use, and he beat Diablo using that. And I was like, that was I'd seen that and thought that was really badass, and that's the only thing I know. Like, so I don't know anything outside of that. So I put my prediction in Diablo, but
Yeah.
uh, yeah, those things are
No,
important.
there's many things. I believe Forza Motorsport can be played by blind people,
Mhm.
right? So if you have a visual impairment too, it's just like making things available for more people. It's just like for them to say participation award, it just really annoyed me. And I know that maybe a lot of the people didn't know what they're talking about, and they're
They
just
don't
like
have a
man,
clue.
like they're
Yeah.
being like typical kids on the internet, just trolling. But I think those things need to be said because I am actually very passionate about it. I think I've mentioned every single podcast. I've been like diversity and inclusion and accessibility and just like in general inclusion more than anything, right? So it's just
Mhm.
like those are things that make me really roll my eyes and make me want to start typing, but I'm like, I'm not going to get
Yeah.
into this. I'm just gonna stop.
Yeah. The percentage of them that actually put like and most people the percentage of people who put in a game and go to the settings for anything other than difficulty is very low anyways. Like most people don't go through accessibility options and like your average
That's what
everyday
no, that's the
person.
thing.
Yeah.
We don't know though, because we don't know that. And that's the thing. Like there's a reason why it's there. And like maybe a lot of people don't go there because they don't even know it exists.
Mhm.
And I think that's something like we don't know that. It's because a lot of people won't say what their struggles are because they don't want to be different. Like they don't want to be pointed out. They don't want to be like the one that's being stigmatized. And like that happens in the classroom, that happens as an adult at work, that happens everywhere because I think I've spoken to about being neurodivergent in a neurotypical world, right? Like working in the corporate world and kind of like always having to adapt to what extroverts are. For example, like an extroverted world when you're an introvert, very similar to that, right? So I think accessibility is one of those things that people don't know that is being used, but it is being used. It's just
Right.
like because like when a kid or I think even like The Sims at some point was criticized for the UI and how difficult it was for people that like if, with any type of visual impairment and stuff like that, and they went ahead and updated all of that so more people can play it because it's more people than you think have a disability. A lot of disabilities are not even visible. That's the thing. And
Right.
like people just think of people with like limitation and mobility, but there's so much more than that. So
Yeah.
sorry, I will stop because
No.
I'm very passionate about this.
No, I get it, and I do just want to make clear. I didn't mean like that people with disabilities don't go in and check. I just meant a lot of people who are commenting YouTube things that don't know what those settings are before they even get in. They're just like people getting on YouTube and saying Forza's mid, didn't go in there and look at accessibility options. Anyways, on almost any of the games they play, if it
Or
doesn't,
they didn't even play it, you know what I mean?
yeah, exactly.
Or they don't know that what you get at the beginning when you start playing the game, that you start adapting the colors or the light of the screen. That's also accessibility, just so you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Even though they have a recommendation for how they want you to play it, that's accessibility as well.
Yeah,
Anyway,
for sure. There we go. All right. Well, now we're gonna see if we can keep Pink awake while I talk about football for 30 seconds. Okay. Pink can sleep. We'll talk about this. All right. So fantasy football. Here's how this is going. All right. So fantasy football, for anybody who doesn't know, a super easy explanation. You basically just draft football players, whatever they do in real life during the games, you get points based on. So somebody gets a touchdown, I think you get like 7 fantasy points, something like that. Every time they catch a ball and run like 30 yards, you get so many points for them running the 30 yards. Like you just get points every time they're doing something good. All right, so I usually suck at this, and I get a bad draft pick, and I get tore up every year. This year, I got the second pick in the draft, and I drafted amazing. So like my wide receiver was Justin Jefferson. He's the best receiver in the league. That was my number 1 pick, Justin Jefferson, best receiver in the league. I got a really good quarterback. My whole team is stacked. I got 2 running backs that are really good. So I was like, oh my God, this year might be the one. All right, I'm coming. All right, so the first 4 weeks I'm doing really good. All right, so Justin Jefferson, I'm telling you, best receiver in the league. He is getting me almost 30 points every week. It's insane. Everybody's like, dude, you did so good drafting Justin Jefferson. Here's my luck. He gets hurt in the middle of the season. After like 4 games, I think he gets injured. And I don't want to be insensitive. It sucks that he got hurt because he got really hurt, of course. Sometimes we get so excited about fantasy football, we forget somebody actually got hurt. But now I'm losing those 30 points every week. So it's a struggle. It's a struggle every week. My running back that was really good. The first week when I played him, got almost 30 points, but he got hurt in that first game. So now he's out. And I'm like 2 of my top 2 picks are gone, but I'm still fighting every week. So fast forward to last night, it's the final week before fantasy football playoffs. So everybody who's not in the winning bracket is going to be eliminated, and we're playing for money allegedly. So I kind of like would like to be in the playoff spot. My guy comes back yesterday, Pink. He comes back yesterday, the best receiver in the league. He comes back.
wait, what?
Yes. He comes.
I'm like I literally am on another roll right now. Go ahead. Comes back.
Okay. Well, he came back from injury because I'd missed him. Like I said, he got hurt after week 4, and like I was kind of fucked without him. He comes back the final day. I'm like, oh, thank you, because I need him this week. I have to win to make the playoffs. He comes back. My whole team is back healthy again. Everything's good. After struggling all year, he makes it back just in time for the final game. I'm checking my stats. He's got 2 receptions for like 30 yards. So like he's already getting me good points. And the day he comes back, he gets hurt again. So, and this time it's...
Poor guy.
Huh?
Poor guy.
Yeah, no, it's really bad. Somebody told me, I didn't know this because I wasn't watching the game. They told me it was a chest injury and they rushed him to the hospital. I never checked back up on that, but it apparently was really bad. So he got out the game. Mind you, the dude I'm playing in fantasy football, I'm tearing his ass up. He has a 20% chance to win. I'm just like, okay, Justin Jefferson's hurt again. But everybody I have left is still like, we still have an 80% chance to win this. Like I don't see us losing. My quarterback gets hurt after only getting 1 point. So now the quarterback's down. I don't have a quarterback. I don't have that guy. My other receiver gave me 1 point. He just shit the bed completely. And that dude had a 20% chance, came all the way back and won. So I am out the playoffs. I'm out some money, allegedly. And it's another losing year for me in fantasy football because I have the worst luck of all time.
Well,
So,
I mean, you say you have the worst luck, but what about the people getting injured?
yeah, well, You would turn that back on me. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
But
okay. Sorry,
yeah,
not sorry.
my season's over, and I'm a little sad. You know, I just needed to come on here and let it all out. Yep, this is like a therapy episode for me. Just get it all out today. Once you stayed awake, that's all. You know what? That's all we ask. That's all we ask. Ladies and gentlemen, that is another episode of Junk Mail Tuesday. We had fun. Pink, did you have a good time?
I did. I do think that we both had some venting today. So, I guess that's what podcasts are for.
I think so. Actually, while we're venting, let me go all the way back to week 2 in fantasy football and go week by week how it all went.
No, thank you. No. You can turn the podcast off so I can leave and
Oh,
go
okay.
on with my life while you do that. If
Alright.
you want, I can leave a picture of me here for you.
Okay.
So you think someone's listening.
We'll just freeze your camera real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, guys, I tried really hard. I got homemade Rice Krispie treats. I tried really hard not to eat this on stream, but then I got hungry, and these things are fucking amazing. So I'm eating them. All right. With that, we're about to be out of here. Pink, do you wanna get us out of here?
Yes. Accessibility matters. Bye-bye.